channel because it's going to be a recap of my 2020, how my year went. And I know it was a really rough year for all of us because it hit us like a rock, you know. So with that being said, make sure you subscribe, like this video, and turn on your notifications so you get notified every time I post. Now with that being said, let's get right into the video. First things first, to start it off, let me tell you that the end of 2019 going into 2020, I was a senior on my last semester of high school. And so I was applying for college, you know, getting ready to go off into big and better things. And so I only applied, so in January, so December of 2019 going into January 2020, I only applied to 3 colleges. And those 3 were UCR, University of California Riverside, CBU, Cal Baptist University, California Baptist University, and then CSUF, Cal State University of Fullerton. And so I only applied to those 3 because CBU and UCR were closest to me. And then, you know, I wanted to go out somewhere and branch, so I just applied to Fullerton. And then so in January I started applying to college, and then I was starting to lose friends, and so I kind of lost like a bunch of friends already going into this year. And I lost a really, really important friend to me because I've known her since 1st grade. Lost her, but I still kept 2 other friends. So I met this girl in my EMT class, my medical class. I met her in that class, so I still stayed friends with her, and I still stayed friends with her. And then I met this guy in my senior year too, so I still stayed friends with him. And then on February, I started to decide where I wanted to go to school, you know. And mind you that for CBU, I did early acceptance because that's where I wanted to go. That's where I wanted to go, my first choice. So I got accepted, and I realized that I couldn't afford to go there because it was a private school. $12,000 out of pocket just to go there. And if I took out loans, it would be $6,000. I mean, and that was still too much to pay. So I didn't go there, and so I ended up having this app on my phone to meet people from college. And so I downloaded it, and I made my first college friend because she also applied to Fullerton where I applied to, and she also applied to other schools, you know. So I kind of met her, and then we started talking, and we just became friends from that app. And mind you that she didn't live anywhere near I lived. She lives in Los Angeles, so it was kind of like an hour away from me. So I met her on this app, and we became friends. And so she was my first college friend. And then on February 17th, I got accepted to Fullerton. And so let me tell you how this day went. So on the 17th, I was, you know, typical day at school, and so it was 2nd period, and so I got to the class early. So I sat down on my computer, and I went to my emails, you know, my email, and so I signed in to see if I got accepted to any of the 3 schools I applied to, or any of the other 2 I applied to. And so I opened up my email, Gmail, and then I saw this email where it said, "Congratulations, you got accepted because of your academics, you got accepted." And so that day I was like emotional. Right away I texted my mom, and then so she told me congratulations like a few minutes later. And then when I got home, she picked me up that day. And so when I saw her when she picked me up, she told me again congratulations. She was excited for me. And then when I got home, and then my brother got home, and my stepdad got home, and my family was home, I told them that I accepted, and they were all excited for me. And so that's how that day went. And so on March 13th, um, March 13th, it was a typical day at school. And then on sixth period, so my last class of the day, maybe 20 minutes before school ended, no, I want to say going into sixth period in that class, it was my economics class. And so my teacher, instead of doing economics, my teacher had the Board of Education meeting on in the classroom, and they're just talking about maybe shutting down the schools and switching to online learning and stuff like that. And so my school didn't say anything about it until maybe sixth period, during maybe 20 minutes before school ended. And so 20 minutes before school ended, my principal announced on the intercom that school was shutting down and we were switching to online learning. And I didn't really say goodbye to anybody because at that point I already lost a bunch of friends, you know? And so it didn't really matter to me because I was going to lose them anyways after graduation, because I know that after graduation everybody goes their own separate ways. So I didn't say goodbye to anybody. I just went straight home. And I'm pretty sure nobody else got to say goodbye to any of their friends because it just hit quick that day after. Like, it just hit quick. So we March 13th was our last day in person, and so that day we switched to online learning. And then the next day, on March 14th, was my birthday, and my family decided to have a little dinner for me for my 18th birthday. So we did that. My uncle, my aunt, her husband came over, and then my older brother's girlfriend came over for my dinner, my dinner party. So we had dinner, all that typical stuff, cake and all that. And so that, I think, was the last day we were able to be all together, because then in the news and stuff they started announcing like to go in quarantine. And so that was the last day we were able to be all together as a family, like having people over and stuff. And so after that day, on March 14th, that was just my birthday. And then on the 29th of March, 29th of March, I kind of was still deciding on where I wanted to go to. And that was 2 months before I was supposed to graduate. So, and I was just thinking of where I wanted to go to, because I know I couldn't go to CBU because I was out of the picture because I didn't have enough money, and then so UCR still didn't tell me anything if I got accepted here or anything, because that's the last school I applied to. So I didn't hear from them. And so I kind of, on the 29th, I kind of committed to Cal State University of Fullerton. And that was, I think, the best decision I've ever made of my life. But my parents kind of weren't too happy about it, because it was 1 hour drive away from home, taking the freeway like that every day. So gas and all that would be expensive. And so, yeah, so on the 29th of March, I committed, or the 29th of March, I committed to Fullerton. And then, on March 30th was my little sister's birthday, but we didn't really do anything because, like I said, on March 14th, they announced quarantine and all that, so people had to stay home and stuff. So on March 30th, for my little sister's birthday, we really didn't do anything. We just kind of stayed home as a family. Nobody really came over or anything. So we celebrated her 10th birthday, all that fun stuff. And then on April, I was doing online school. So from March 14th continuing on, I was doing online school. And then so on April, I did online school. And I was doing online school, like I said, and it wasn't really that exciting because my teachers really weren't holding any Zoom meetings or Google Meets or anything. They were just like sending me work through Google Classroom and stuff like that. They're like, oh, here's the work, do it if you please, don't do it if you don't please, you know. Like, it was like, do it. It was basically like a win-win situation, like a win-lose situation. Like, if you do it, your grade will go up. If you don't do it, then your grade won't go up or suffer, you know. So that was that of April. And then also on the end of April, on the 27th, we had my little brother's birthday. He was turning 12, and so nobody came over. Nobody came over either because of quarantine and all that. And mind you that we thought we were just gonna stay in quarantine for like for a month or two, but going into May, but we still didn't. So April, then the end of April, we were still doing online school, you know, virtual school and stuff like that. And so there was no way we were gonna go back to school. And so on May 27th, I graduated. And since the virus happened and all this, my school decided to do virtual graduation, where a virtual graduation and a drive-through graduation. So the drive-through graduation happened first. So what happened was on May 27th, when I graduated, we went into the parking lot. I picked up the paper that had my name on it. I put it on my car, you know, I sat in the front seat and everything. And then we drove to the stadium, because they had not the stadium, but they had like a little stage, I guess, on one of the halls of the school. And so I got out of the car, I picked up my diploma, I took a picture with it and all my sashes and my cap and gown and all that. And then I waited at the bottom of the stairs for them to call my name. And so they called my name, and then I walked up to the stage. I shook my principal's hand. I took a picture with him, and then I walked down the stage, and then I got into my car. And when I got into my car, we just drove off. And then but then when we drove off, there was just some staffs and teachers saying congratulations, congrats, and all that. And I saw one of my teachers from sophomore year, maybe 10th grade, 11th grade, and she said congratulations, Valeria. So that was good. And then I only stayed friends with 2 people at this point. This girl that I met from my EMT class, like I mentioned earlier, and then the guy that I mentioned about, the guy I told you about that I became friends with, and then the friend also that I met on the app, the college app. So I mainly only had 3 friends at this point. And then I think a day after the day of my graduation, my drive-through graduation, or the next day, I don't remember, but one of those days I had my graduation party. And so me and my uncle had our graduation party, and mind you that I already had my prom dress ready to go to prom, you know, and stuff, before even knowing that our school shut down. And then it didn't happen, so my mom made me wear my prom dress for my graduation party, for me and my uncle's graduation party. So we just had like a little graduation party in my backyard that day. And then June, nothing special really happened. I just kind of stayed home. It was summer, so I just kind of like stayed home, you know, all that fun stuff. Well, it wasn't really fun because I was kind of getting bored at home, you know. So I was just staying at home being bored. Mind you that I was not working yet. I was not driving because I didn't have my license yet, so I couldn't really go out or anything. So I was just staying home bored. And then July hit, and that's when I posted on July 14th. That's when I posted my first video on my channel, which was a Q&A, like get to know me video. And then it was still summer, so I was kind of like bored, didn't know what to do. So I kind of just started my own channel. And then on August, a bunch of things started happening in August. So I started to lose my friend that I met in my EMT class, my medical class I told you guys about. I started losing her because I kind of didn't really see anything with her, you know. Like, she would only use me, like, she would only text me when she needed something. She would only text me when it was convenient for her. She would only text me for little things. Like, she really would never text me when she really wanted to text me, you know. She really would never text me just to say hi, just to do, like, all that, you know. So, like, she didn't text me because she would have wanted to text me. So I kind of started losing her. I stopped following her on Instagram. I stopped following her on all social medias that I followed her on. And then I was supposed to go to a Justin Bieber concert, but his changes tour, but it got canceled because of the virus. And then I started my first year of college on August as well. And then on August 10th, I met someone who goes to my school. And how I met them was through GroupMe, because they texted me a few weeks before school started, saying that if I had the same classes as them. So we kind of just met through that app, and we're still friends to this day because we both are majoring in biology, and we both want to be a pediatrician and go to medical school and all that fun stuff. So that's how I met her. And then on September, I was I was doing online school, you know, going to college online and then going to work. That was just my September. And then my October, from October, I was still doing online school and going to work. That was it. But I also got my license on the 16th of October. And then so I got my first car, my license, and all that fun stuff. So now I was able to drive myself to work, you know. And then on November, I was still doing online school, but I was also posting more on TikTok. I started posting my first video on TikTok probably on May 27th when I graduated. But other than that, I didn't start posting anything else until November. And to this day, I still post on TikTok. And then that was the end of my November. And then for my December, I was dealing with midterms for school, and then I was going on break for my winter break. And then I was posting more on YouTube because the reason why I was posting more on YouTube was because I was having a break. I was getting a winter break, so, you know, Christmas break, New Year's break, and all that. So I started posting more on YouTube, and that was my December. So yeah, that was my recap of my 2020. That was a recap of my 2020, how my year went, and it really hit me because it was a really just tough year, crazy year for all of us. But for me, I was losing friends here and there. You know, I lost my friend that I've known since first grade. I lost a girl that I met in my EMT class, my medical class. You know, I just lost so many friends just because we switched to online learning. And so much has happened for me that when I was starting to lose those friends, I realized that I wasn't being myself, because I was always changing for someone to like me. If someone didn't like my personality, if someone didn't like the way I did stuff, I would just change for them to like me. And now that I realize it, that shouldn't be the case. Because you shouldn't change for someone else. You shouldn't change for people like you. If you're shy, if you have anxiety, if you have depression, you know, if you're fat, if you're skinny, you know, just love who you are and don't change for anybody, because that's the real you. Because if you change for someone to like you, that's not the real you. You're just being fake. You're just being a fake you know? And it doesn't matter who you lose, because those people were meant to be in your life, you know? And so I kind of just realized that after losing so many friends, because I was always taken advantage of, you know? People were only texting me when they needed me. I was being used, and so I didn't really have any like real friends. It wasn't until I met that girl in February in that college app that really changed my life, because till right now, she's my best friend. And I can honestly say she's the one person in my life that has stuck by me throughout 2020. She's the one person that understands me more than anybody. Like, I feel like she won't judge me, and I can tell her anything. I can tell anything and everything without being afraid of telling her anything, you know? So it's like, I realized that I don't need to change for anybody. And then the guy that I told you guys about, me and him became really close friends. We're best friends. And with him, we can talk, well, him and both of my best friends, him and her, I can talk to them about anything and everything, and they won't judge me, you know, and I don't have to change for them, and those are real friends. And then just this year was crazy. It really took a toll on me, because I wasn't able to graduate. I wasn't able to have a virtual graduation in person. I wasn't able to have that feeling. And 4 years ago, 2016, I was able to see my brother graduate on stage for the first time, you know. I was able to hear his name get called out, you know, and hear him say he did and all this stuff. And 4 years ago, I was 14, sitting in those stands, hearing my brother's name get called out, and I was like, in my head, I was like, that's gonna be me in the next 4 years. My brother's gonna watch me say I did it, you know. And I want to make my brother proud of me. But now, 4 years later, it didn't happen. I didn't have that graduation that we all wanted to. And it really sucked, because when you're waiting your whole life for that moment and it doesn't happen, it's just sad and it sucks. And the class of 2020 really went through some hardships, because it was our year, you know, to graduate, to go to our grad night, you know, to go to prom, experience these things, and we weren't able to because of the virus. And so that sucks. That really sucked. And this year made me realize a lot. And going into it, I thought it was going to be a good year, but then getting out of it, now I realize that live every moment like it's your last. And I have a poster or a little sign that I have, so you can't really see it, but I took it down. Sorry, I took it down, but I had a poster on that wall right there, and it said, live every moment like it's your last. And I've always lived by that quote, because it always stuck with me. Because if tomorrow is your last day, if today is your last day, if 5 minutes from now is your last day, if a year from now is your last day, how do you want to spend it, you know? And so I kind of realized that I kind of realized that when 2020 was coming to an end on December, I realized that I want to spend my day, like, I want to spend my day happiness, positivity, you know, with the people I love, with true friends who are always going to be there for me, you know. And so if I can't have that with people, then why would I want them in my life? So I kind of just realized that ending the year, that it was a really tough year for me, and losing friends, I think, was one of the best things that could ever happen to me, because if I didn't lose my friends, if I didn't lose the friends I did, I wouldn't be me and where I'm at today. Because I'm with, I guess, 4 amazing friends. Oh yeah, and I didn't tell you guys this, but I kind of met someone almost towards the end of the year of 2020. I met him because he goes to my school. He's just a friend, so I met him because he goes to my school. So I'm grateful to start the new year with 4 amazing friends who I know are true friends. Even if one of them goes to school in Nebraska, I still keep in touch with him. Even if the girl I met on the college app doesn't go to my school because she lives in Los Angeles, because she goes to a community college in Los Angeles. So even if some of the friends I've made don't even go to my college, I'm still grateful to have met them. And I'm grateful to be able to create new memories with new people. And I'm just grateful to start off the year right, onto a good start with the real me, you know. So that was just my 2020, how it ended. So it was kind of a little emotional, not gonna lie. But yeah, so make sure you guys subscribe, turn on notifications so you get notified every time I post, and like this video. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of an insight of what my 2020 was like, because I know not everybody's 2020 was all like the way they wanted it to be. So it was just a crazy year. So thanks for watching, and see you guys next time. Bye.